When the silence is broken, secrets begin to emerge. Preston Bezos, the eldest son of Jeff Bezos, has been out of the media for 20 years. He has been virtually invisible. Until today, Preston Bezos suddenly appeared and said shocking things about his father, Jeff Bezos. When the son of one of the most powerful people on the planet breaks his silence, what is being revealed? Let's find out in the video. Preston Bezos, the invisible heir to the billion-dollar empire of Jeff Bezos. Jeffrey Preston Bezos Jr., commonly known as Preston Bezos, was born in 2000 and is the eldest son of Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Scott. The name Preston was given to Jeff after his middle name, Jeffrey Preston Bezos, a clear indication of his special position in the family. Jeff Bezos is the billionaire founder of Amazon Blue Origin and owner of the Washington Post, with a fortune of more than $200 billion. His mother, Mackenzie Scott, is famous for her large-scale charitable activities after her divorce. Despite their fame, the Bezos family maintains a high level of privacy. They have no social media accounts, few official photos, and almost no scandals involving him. Preston is the oldest of 4 children, with 2 biological brothers and a sister adopted from China. But the names of the 3 children are not disclosed. Although born into a famous billionaire family, Preston chose to live a hidden life, not chasing fame or fortune. Since childhood, Preston has lived in the nexus of power and limitation. He received an elite education attending the prestigious Lakeside School in Seattle, where Bill Gates graduated, an environment for the intellectual elite. He then went on to attend an Ivy League university with absolute secrecy. But despite his education and illustrious family background, Preston has left no public traces. While other rich kids show off yachts, billion-dollar watches, or their startups, Preston seems to have completely disappeared from the media radar. Only a few times have people seen him appear with his father at important events, such as the premiere of Star Trek Beyond 2016, or the prestigious gala at the Smithsonian Museum 2019. But even standing next to his father, one of the most powerful men on the planet, Preston has remained silent. Preston was taught to think big, act carefully, and most importantly, keep quiet. The family didn't want their children to be celebrities. Jeff once said, "I wanted them to be independent-minded, not living in the shadow of their father." This is a rarity in the world of the super rich in America, where most billionaire children have become social media stars, media personalities, or at least the faces of their family's charitable causes. But there is another theory: Preston doesn't want to live a life that is predetermined. He deliberately retreats from the spotlight, as if he was taught from a young age that the most dangerous person is the one who doesn't have to talk. Preston chooses silence as a form of strength. A sudden family incident comes to Preston, causing him to change completely. 2019. Incident: the divorce that shook the whole family. On January 9, 2019, Jeff Bezos and his wife of 25 years, Mackenzie Scott, posted a joint statement on Twitter. "We wanted to make everyone aware of a change in our lives. After a long and loving journey, we have decided to divorce and continue our shared lives as friends." At first glance, it sounds like a civilized breakup typical of the super rich: no lawsuits, no fights, no smears. They even emphasize that they will still raise their children together with love and respect. But just 48 hours later, the mask fell off. The truth revealed: love, betrayal, predatory media. On January 10, 2019, the National Enquirer, a famous American tabloid, released a shocking investigation accusing Jeff Bezos of having an affair with Lauren Sanchez, a former TV host and wife of Hollywood businessman Patrick Whitesell. A series of private messages were leaked, filled with affectionate, sometimes sexual messages. Secret selfies and even plans for the couple to meet were published. The affair was no longer a rumor; it became a global media sensation. The press began to turn the clock back. It turned out that Jeff and Lauren had been in a relationship for months before they announced their divorce. And this incident pulled the entire Bezos family out of their fortress of privacy, throwing them into the eye of a public storm, where every move was analyzed down to the millimeter. Preston Bezos, the silent hurt. Amidst the storm, one name remained absolutely silent: Preston Bezos, then 19 years old, in college, entering adulthood. But he had to witness his family falling apart before the eyes of hundreds of millions of people. Unlike other celebrity children, Preston has never been trained to handle the spotlight. He is not a public figure. He has no protective gear nor experience in dealing with a media crisis. Rare close friends describe Preston began to change. No rebellion, no crying, just silence. But the eyes were deeper, the gaze was sterner. He began to ask difficult questions, no longer accepting everything his father said as absolute truth. The unconditional respect he had for his genius father began to crack. Divorce among the super rich often comes with a costly peace agreement. Jeff Bezos transferred 25% of his Amazon stake to McKinsey, worth more than $35 billion, making her the world's third richest woman with just a signature. But money cannot buy balance. It cannot heal the feelings of children caught between two giant forces. Preston didn't say anything, but his silence was more powerful than any tweet. Years later, when the world heard a few short sentences from Preston, that silence that year was not harmless. The first crack, a short word like a warning. In 2022, amid the spotlight of a glittering event in London where Amazon was introducing its most expensive television project in history, a seemingly innocuous statement sent chills down the spines of those in the know. On the red carpet of the premiere of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Jeff Bezos stepped onto the stage, smiled brightly at the hundreds of cameras, and shared a lovely little story. Before the premiere, my son Preston said to me, "Dad, please don't ruin this movie." The audience laughed. The media called it a heartwarming father-son moment. But those who really knew Preston didn't laugh, because they knew this wasn't a joke. This was a warning, and that was the first crack. Unlike most rich kids who live in mansions, drive supercars, and show off their outfits on Instagram, Preston Bezos is an introvert, reserved, and intellectual. One of his greatest passions since childhood is the works of J.R.R. Tolkien. For Preston, The Lord of the Rings is more than just a grand movie. It is a profound moral universe, a journey of honor, loyalty, and resistance to corrupt power. He not only watched the movies, but also read the original novels, studied the Elvish language and the philosophy of light and darkness, which Tolkien wrote about with all his religious and historical beliefs. It's not entertainment, it's legacy. So when Amazon, the company his father founded, spent nearly $1 billion to produce The Rings of Power, Preston wasn't excited, but worried. Tolkien, he said, wasn't writing about epic CGI battles or shiny suits of armor. He was writing about the corruption of the human heart, about the destructive power of power unchecked by morality, and he fears that his father, who spoke of idealism and humanity in the early days of Amazon, now heads an empire willing to crush meaning for views. Don't ruin this movie, or don't ruin what's left of you. The line, "Don't ruin this movie, Dad," seemed like a gentle reminder. But to Preston, it was a desperate attempt to protect something he still believed in. Preston's remark was turned into a joke by Jeff. But for those who have lived in that world where every word counts, they know that is the first knock on the door of instability. If Preston, the silent heir who has been silent for more than 20 years, feels the need to raise his voice, it is no longer a personal grievance but a moral rift at the heart of the Bezos empire. And when the eldest son questions the true value of what his father has built, every achievement, whether it be rocket stocks or the title of global billionaire, suddenly becomes fragile. Did Preston Bezos attend his father's wedding? In late June 2025, Jeff Bezos, the world's second richest man, officially married his longtime girlfriend Lauren Sanchez in a private and lavish wedding in Venice, Italy. The event brought together a powerful guest list, including Bill Gates, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kris Jenner, Ivanka Trump, but was missing one thing that made everyone wonder: where is his eldest son, Preston Bezos? Preston Bezos, the top heir to the Amazon empire, was not in any public photos at his father's wedding. He did not speak, did not take selfies, and did not stand next to Jeff or Lauren at the ceremony. However, several sources have made interesting arguments. Gazette Direct noted that although there were no photos or official information since this was a family event, it was very likely that Bezos's children attended but were kept in the dark. The Daily Mail confirmed that right after the wedding in Venice, the whole family, including Jeff's children, went on vacation together in Croatia, with activities such as jet skiing and swimming indirect evidence that the children participated. This intentional absence makes Preston even more mysterious, a model of a secretive prince in an era where rich kids compete to show off. And perhaps that is the choice of the person who will inherit one of the most massive fortunes in the world. Bezos Sanchez family. When stepchildren are closer than biological children, the marriage between Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez is not only the union of two powerful people, but also the blending of two families, creating a billion-dollar version of the Brady Bunch, as Lauren herself once described it. Lauren has 3 children from previous relationships: eldest son Nico with former NFL player Tony Gonzalez, son Evan, and daughter Ella with ex-husband Patrick Whitesell. She describes her new family as the Brady Bunch. Jeff has been seen bonding with her children, as has she with his. While Jeff's biological children have always maintained a private lifestyle, Nico Gonzalez, Lauren's stepchild, has become an increasingly prominent name alongside the billionaire. Nico Gonzalez was born in 2001, the son of Lauren Sanchez and her first husband Tony Gonzalez, a former American football player. The boy began to be known and noticed more since his mother publicly dated billionaire Jeff Bezos in 2019. Lauren Sanchez's eldest son graduated from Loyola High School in California in 2020, a school with a rich history of athletics, including national championships in soccer and volleyball. Many believe that the 2001-born boy has a talent for sports and will one day follow in his father's footsteps. Surprisingly, Nico is in the process of training to become a helicopter pilot like his mother, the Things reported. Lauren Sanchez began flying planes in 2011 before going on to earn her helicopter pilot's license in 2016. When Lauren Sanchez officially came out to Jeff Bezos, both Tony and Nico were said to have welcomed the billionaire. According to the Things, Nico and his father hung out with Bezos many times, even attending the Amazon founder's 2021 New Year's Eve party. Nico has many differences from Preston, Jeff Bezos' offspring. Young Nico has often boasted about his lavish lifestyle, such as frequent expensive trips, from vacationing on a super yacht with his family, to swimming with sharks and climbing waterfalls in Hawaii, USA, or vacationing in Paris, France, Ibiza, Spain by private jet. Meanwhile, Bezos' biological children are not well known and are extremely private. The eldest, Preston, has made a few rare media appearances. The names of his 2 remaining sons, believed to be teenagers, and his adopted daughter remain unknown. The apparent closeness between Bezos and Lauren's stepchild raises a big question. Did Jeff Bezos feel more at ease with Nico, an energetic, flighty young man like himself in his youth? Whatever the answer, the truth is clear. Lauren's stepchild is more present and more publicly attached to Jeff Bezos, both in his personal life and on international media occasions. Nico Gonzalez is playing the role of unofficial heir, enjoying the billionaire life accompanying Bezos on many occasions. Jeff's biological children are named that are almost completely hidden, making the public even more curious. Aftershock, when the world feels a cracked legacy. Across platforms from X Twitter to Reddit, from YouTube to philosophy forums. People are no longer talking about AI rockets or Prime Video, but about an anonymous son trying to reclaim a voice in the world's most powerful family. A viral comment on X reads, "I don't care how rich you are. When you have to watch your parents divorce, watch the world celebrate someone who you see very differently in real life, it leaves a scar that can never be healed." Another line became a slogan shared hundreds of thousands of times: "Don't let silence become the legacy of an empire." Surprisingly, many of the responses were not directed at Jeff Bezos, but at Preston, with sympathy, understanding, and even admiration. No one knows what it's like to be the son of a legend until you've been trapped in their shadow. The more money you have, the fewer people think you suffer. But no child is immune to family trauma. For the first time, the Bezos story is no longer the Silicon Valley glitz. It becomes more human, more intimate, more real, because it tells a story that everyone can understand: the forgotten child in a broken home. Jeff Bezos' fortune is no longer being counted. There is no discussion of stocks, no debate over Amazon's strategy. There is a conversation about a boy who once admired Tolkien, a young man who lived quietly on the sidelines of world-class decisions. The truth is, every child has a moment when he realizes his parents are not perfect. But for Preston, that moment happened on a global stage where the light shines brightly. A lingering question, but more annoying than any accusation. If the heir himself does not believe in the legacy, then does the legacy remain intact? Preston Bezos' silence over the past 20 years is the most silent, subtle, and painful indictment. No need to scream. No need to write a book exposing the biological father. No need to participate in talk shows. Just a few sentences, a few seconds, a few glances, but leaving a bigger crack than any investigation. Despite the different views of public opinion about him, Jeff Bezos may be the founder of Amazon, the space tycoon with blue origin, the second richest billionaire on the planet, but as a father, he chooses a completely different path. No ostentation, no imposition, and absolute respect for the personality of each child. Jeff Bezos' parenting style. When the billionaire chooses to be a normal dad, Jeff Bezos is the creator of Amazon, one of the most influential companies in the world, founder of aerospace company Blue Origin, and once the richest man in the world. However, as a father of 4 children, he chooses not to govern with power, but with respect and guided freedom. Bezos once said, "You can't make a 10-year plan for your kids the same way you make a growth strategy for Amazon." He believes that children are independent individuals, and that it is the responsibility of parents to guide, not dictate. His ex-wife writer Mackenzie Scott also played an important role in maintaining an educational environment that was free, curious, and respectful of each child's nature. Bezos once said that when his son was 4 years old, he let him use a real knife to cut vegetables and later let him use a gas stove to cook. "I had to negotiate with my wife to let my kids learn to use knives early. Kids are much smarter than we think," Bezos shared in his TED Talk. The family has a habit of reading books every night, and Bezos is the one who inspires his children about science, space, and technology from an early age. One thing is clear: Jeff Bezos has never revealed the full identities or photos of his children, except for his eldest son, Preston. This is not only to protect their privacy, but also to help them grow up as normal children, not living in the shadow of a billionaire's child. It shows that no matter how rich and famous Bezos is, he still protects his children's right to be normal, something that many other famous parents have failed to do. Jeff Bezos' huge fortune. Who will be the heir to the billion-dollar dynasty, $240 billion? A number so overwhelming that if you spent $1 million a day, it would take you more than 650 years to spend it all. That is the huge fortune that Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, is holding at the age of 61. But behind those numbers is a question that has the world-curious investors nervous and the media constantly speculating. Who will inherit the dynasty that Jeff Bezos built from scratch? As of mid-2025, Jeff Bezos' assets are estimated to be worth around $230, $240 billion. This includes shares in Amazon, 9–10%, the heart of the global e-commerce empire. Blue Origin, the dream of conquering space where Bezos invested tens of billions of dollars with the ambition of expanding human civilization to other planets. The Washington Post, a long-standing media icon that Bezos revived to change the world press game. Jeff Bezos' fortune isn't just in Amazon stock or Blue Origin rockets. A significant portion of it is in real estate and luxury possessions enough to build a private kingdom on multiple continents and even in outer space. He owns Kourou, a $500 million super yacht longer than a football field, considered one of the largest super yachts in the world. This is also the yacht Jeff and Lauren Sanchez used for their honeymoon and after-wedding party. In addition, he also owns a castle in the heart of Hollywood, a mansion in Beverly Hills worth $165 million. This was once the property of the founder of Warner Brothers. The mansion is considered one of the most expensive private real estate in the history of the state of California. He owns the Corn Ranch in Texas, a 165,000-acre space launch pad that houses the Blue Origin rocket launch site and serves as a private retreat where Jeff can work on long-term projects. The value of Jeff Bezos' real estate and luxury goods alone exceeds $1 billion, not counting undisclosed assets such as a $65 million Gulfstream G650ER jet and a rare watch collection. This is not just property. It is an ecosystem of power stretching from Earth to orbit, from the ground to global media. Most rumored heir, Preston Bezos. Of Jeff's 4 children, only Preston Bezos, the eldest son, has made a few public appearances, always accompanying his father at important occasions such as the Smithsonian Gala, the Star Trek premiere, or family events. Jeff Bezos once said, "I don't want my children to live in my shadow. I want them to create their light." That statement adds to the confusion. Will he leave Amazon to a professional CEO, but leave the bulk of his fortune to his children? Or will Preston inherit not just his father's money, but his father's responsibilities and philosophy as well? $240 billion is more than just a number. It's a massive legacy of the digital age, And who inherits it isn't just a matter for the Bezos family, it's a question that could change the future of technology, media, and even space. Preston Bezos. Will he step into the light to take the throne, or will he choose to stay silent, to build his kingdom? What Preston may inherit is not just money, but a lifestyle of ultra-luxury, where every brick costs millions and every step is a statement of power.